Hey guys, I know in our recent episode you might have heard about my fake heart attack that I had, but Austin and I wanted to reach out to our sponsor today before the show and say thank you so much for your support and love for the show. Heightened Aesthetics, off Nebraska, behind Extreme Tacos. Go check them out. If you want to get stabbed in the face and make your face look much better, that's the place to get stabbed. Stephanie will take extra good care of you. And look at Austin. He got stabbed 15 times in the face. I was rubbing balls on his chin, but everything seems to work out. So guys, if you need Botox or fillers, there's only one place you should go here in the Tampa Bay area. Reach out to Heightened Aesthetics. Find them on all social media platforms. And now, let's get to the show.
Welcome to the What's Good Tampa Show. What's Good Tampa Show. This is where we talk about all things Tampa Bay and beyond. Coming to you from the Gimmick in Ybor City, here's your hosts, Austin and Sean.
Just wait for Austin. He's going to try to turn his phone off from sleeping. Thank you so much, though.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, well, welcome back to the What's Good Tampa Show. This is now our second episode for the Gasparilla Music Festival, which we're really, really stoked about. This is going to be April 29th and 30th. And the big difference... Oh, there goes your train.
Love
again.
it.
Welcome to
Ybor,
City,
baby. It's all part of it.
Ybor's finest.
Yeah,
God.
absolutely.
Anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and get started. So, Kelly, thank you so much for coming to the show today. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing for the Gasparilla Music Festival and kind of your role and what's going on April 29th and 30th.
So I'm on the board of directors. I'm actually serving as the treasurer right now, and we are full steam ahead with our festival this year. We had a couple hiccups with scheduling and stuff like that, but once we got our permitting to move forward with the dates of April 29th and 30th, we've literally pulled this music festival together in 6 weeks.
Wow.
And major kudos to our staff and everybody over at the GMF offices, because they are literally working. They're burning the midnight oil.
I can only imagine 6 weeks to get a festival underway.
Props to whoever's greasing those hands that needed to be greased to get those things through.
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
So people who aren't familiar with the Gasparilla Music Festival, can you tell us just briefly what that is?
Sure. So we're actually, the Gasparilla Music Foundation is what supports the Gasparilla Music Festival. We're a nonprofit organization, and all of the money that we raise through this festival, through the food sales, through the vendor sales, ticket sales, our memberships like our Higher Ground and all of our sponsorships, it all goes to support local music programs in schools.
Okay,
so
cool.
we have events happening all throughout the year where we plan events so that we can highlight local artists, and then we also provide a lot of funding to these music programs where, a lot of times that's where the budgets get cut first.
Definitely.
Sure.
So making sure that kids that want access and need access to music have that access.
I love that. Yeah, we heard a little bit about the Recycled Tunes program
Yes.
last time, which I just thought was amazing.
Tad, he's
yeah,
the
Tad.
man. He's the man.
He's the man behind that.
Tad is the man.
Well, that is super cool. And I asked Tad this question, and he wasn't sure. So now I'm going to ask you, and if you don't know the answer, that's okay. What do you think as far as like local musicians to national acts that you kind of have? There's mostly local acts. Is it mostly national acts? Is it kind of a middle ground combination
For the festival?
Yeah, for the festival.
It's a pretty split. I mean, we try to really make sure that we're bringing new artists to the community to introduce them. So they are bigger. There can be a lot of bigger acts, but people might not be familiar with them.
Okay.
I mean, they do, our talent buyers and our staff, especially Dave Cox, this is a year-long process where they're scouting people and looking at music and trying to bring an eclectic. I mean, I think anyone who's been to GMF has seen that it's a very, very eclectic array of music. I mean, we
Definitely.
have hip-hop, we have jam bands, we have reggae, it's just, there's everything. So
Right.
it's not just a one-size-fits-all type of festival. It's a celebration of all the different types of music out there.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it is like there's something for everybody there. Like no matter what your taste is in music, it's there, right?
Yeah.
So which is really, really cool. Give me some of the trials and tribulations it takes to put on a festival like this, and within 6 weeks, nonetheless. You don't have to get into the dirty details.
Booking talent.
That's that secret sauce booking talent that, remember, they shut me down. I was trying to find out what that secret sauce was, but I just shot down. My questions just can't get
some
answered.
secrets can't be revealed.
Yeah, I would say booking talent is a big piece, because you've got to find artists that are touring, that works with their scheduling. there's some big companies out there that have some big contracts with a lot of these acts around these days, and it really makes it difficult for some of us. We're a grassroots festival. We started here. This is our 12th year, so we've built it into something large, but we're up against some of these bigger companies that have these arena tours, and it makes it really difficult for us to continue to bring something new and fresh that's also recognizable, that are going to drive ticket sales and bring people into the festival.
For
grounds.
sure.
Yeah, for sure. How long have you been involved with the festival?
As a volunteer, probably about 6 or 7 years. As a board member, 3 years.
Okay, wow. So for a little while now.
Yeah.
So for a little while.
I love GMF.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, what made you want to get involved in the first place?
I love music.
It's the music.
I love music, and I love the fact that GMF is not just a festival. Gasparilla Music Foundation is a year-round effort.
Sure.
The mission is to bring, music to people who may not have access to it, children, specifically youth. I mean, I know how important music was to me in my childhood, and to be able to make sure that that's a big component, and then also reaching and bringing more creativity and arts to our community. Tampa's a growing city. I mean, it's unbelievable what's happened here.
Oh, it's amazing
in the last few years, and so to be a part of that fabric, and to be GMF and being able to make sure that everybody has this access and has this experience is really what it's all about. So I fell in love with it the first time I went, and I was hooked.
Yeah, awesome.
She makes a good point about music too, because when you're growing up as a kid, it's integral, because it's your friend, it's your buddy, it's somebody, it's your solace, it's things that you can relate to, or things that can get you through tough times. And we hear about it back in the day, but I don't know if the festivals get enough credit for really promoting that out through as well. Because, I mean, if you're doing it to somebody that's in their 20s or 30s that are going to have kids later on, making them feel a different way about music is going to obviously extend to their family beyond. So just a great thing.
And that's another big thing about GMF. We're very family friendly. So all kids 12 and under get in for free.
Oh, wow.
So, a lot of families bring their children during the day. And there's, typically we have a kids fest this year because we're doing a hybrid event. We're not going to have the same, type of kids fest that we normally do. We'll resume that next year when we're back into full programming. But it's a very family friendly event. We encourage, people to bring their children and let them come and experience GMF.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You said a hybrid event. What do you mean by that?
Well, so typically in the 11 years past, we've taken over all of Curtis Hickson Park and Kiley Gardens, where we've had 4 stages. We're unable to utilize Kiley Gardens this year because they have some waterproofing issues up there with the parking garage underneath. And so we had to pivot, and we've got 4 stages. We will have 4 stages this year. 2 of them will be ticketed stages, so that there'll be access for people who are ticket buyers or members or sponsors of the organization. And then 2 of the other stages are going to be open access to anybody who's in the area. So we have one at Sparkman Wharf, and we have another one behind the convention center at the Sail Pavilion, and then Curtis Hickson, and then another, that'll be our big main stage, and then our second stage will be at the Straz. So all 4 stages are accessible by the Riverwalk. So it really creates this opportunity to engage people that might not know about GMF, might not know that there's a festival happening, and also providing exposure for some of these local artists.
Yeah, I think you just made a great point, because it does provide extra exposure for people who are just traveling down Riverwalk or walking down Riverwalk or going to let's go to Sparkman Wharf for the day, not even realizing that this festival is going on. So I think it's going to actually probably draw more people to it that maybe didn't know about it before, especially maybe newer people in Tampa. I mean, I've been here a long time. I've heard about it. You guys always do a great job with the marketing.
Yeah.
When it's around, it's around.
So we're out there. Listen, even the board members are out there putting those damn yard signs out. And
I saw one down here.
I think I probably put 75 of them out this year. I drive around and people are honking. They see me. I'm like,
yes, that's awesome.
GMF.
And I saw your sticker on your car.
Yes, I did too. Not to go off topic a little bit, but I was just having a epiphany. I really believe this. Before they completely shut down with the waterproofing issue, I saw an infomercial. There's that sticky stuff that guy put at the bottom of a boat, and it literally could float down the river. So before you guys completely cancel that, is there any way that maybe I could go to city council and see if they'll let me do the as seen on TV? What's it called again? You know what I'm talking about? The glue. It's like it comes in black or white.
Oh,
and it's rubberized.
The guy who does it on the boat.
Yeah.
What is that called?
So I'll just waterproof it up real quick, and then we'll have it all at the same place. Or Flex Seal, that's it. Shout out Flex Seal, next sponsor of the show. But I would love to just go fix it and then we can just do everything as planned if that's cool. But we don't have to do it right now. I'm going to go in and I'm going to throw it out there because
let me know how that goes.
Yeah. We'll follow up with you on that one. Jeez.
That was just trying to help any way I can.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what you do best is help. So you kind of answered this already, but you love music. That's kind of what inspired you to get involved. Out of the years, and you don't need to call it like one year's better than the other. I'm just curious, out of all the acts you've seen at Gasparilla Music Festival, what is some of your best memories from it? Because you've been going for a while now, and I'm sure a lot of other people in the city have as well. I've been, and I've had great experiences there. Can you kind of call out a memory maybe if you had that?
I mean, there's so many. I mean, last year was just phenomenal from top to bottom with everyone, but there's been so many. I mean, I'm a huge Cage the Elephant fan,
okay.
so
I am too.
That was a fantastic show. I mean, you go back to like Go-Go Bordello and always Trombone Shorty. He is he is just phenomenal. So I don't know. I mean, Nas was incredible. We had a couple years ago, and I mean, and this year we've got. I mean, our lineup. I don't know if you're going to ask me about it, but I can talk
absolutely.
about it. We've got a great lineup this year that I'm super excited. Very, very eclectic. I think it's going to knock the socks off of some people.
Yeah. You know who really impressed me last year, and he was on the show, was Sam Hughes. And
Sam E. Hughes.
Yeah, and he got up with a whole orchestra basically and just rocked it out, which I was just not expecting. He killed it, and a great guy, great performer. Glad to have him on the show. But yes, I want to know about the lineup. Tell us a little bit about the lineup this year.
So for Saturday, some of the bigger names that we have, we've got Cannons, who. Oh, I've got it. I know it.
She's like, I know it by heart.
Are you kidding me? They have We have been drilling this into our heads.
I've been breathing this the last
for 6 weeks. I mean, 6 weeks.
She knows all the acts. I can't even think Flex Seal.
Exactly.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. So we've got Cannon Saturday. They'll come on. I think they're around 5 o'clock or so as the day starts to get a little bit later, and then direct support for our headliner is Chromeo, which they are super funky. They will definitely get the crowd going. And then we've got Run the Jewels.
Okay.
So anybody who is a hip hop fan is very familiar with Run the Jewels. They are really they're gonna rock that park.
That's awesome.
It's going to be awesome. And then Sunday, Rising Appalachia, one of my personal favorites, Local Natives.
Okay.
And then J-Rad, which is Joe Russo's Almost Dead. Yep. Awesome way to close out the festival. But then there's going to be tons and tons of local talent. I know we've got George here, and he's gonna show us some of his stuff, and it's amazing, and it's incredible. It's a great opportunity to come out and learn about new music and see some of the local talent there's so much of it here.
Yeah, there really is.
It's incredible to getting to see. I can't wait to hear him sing today. So.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, last year was a blessing for us to go up there, and it was cool to kind of be in the thick of things. Like I was saying before we started, I loved. We talked to Van Plating. We talked to DBMK. We talked to people coming right off stage, and it was cool because you got to feel the energy as mean. Like it was like the adrenaline drop during the episode. Like during the interviews, you can see it actually drop, and it's just so cool that people, whether they're playing music or listening to music, it really can affect you in a positive way, and and it can get you through your day better.
Yeah. When is this going to air? Because we also have a kickoff concert happening this Thursday night in Ybor.
That's when it's going to air.
Thursday. How about that?
Yeah.
There you go.
We put it out Thursday morning, so that's when this episode.
So we have a kickoff concert happening at what used to be Frankie's Patio.
Okay.
It's now called 1920.
Well, you're saying the following Thursday, right?
No, this
Thursday.
This Thursday.
We have a kickoff.
Okay.
We have a kickoff party, a concert, and a band called Galactic.
That does sound familiar.
Really good.
Okay.
So it starts at 8 o'clock. Tickets are on sale for $50. So anybody who's interested in coming.
Is that a big venue? I haven't been there.
Yes.
Where do you get tickets if you want to get them now?
GMF.com. Or GMFtickets.com, right?
GMFtickets.com. Okay, got it.
We'll put the little link here so that they can grab them.
So that's a fun way to kick off the festival.
And they're local artists?
Galactic, I believe they're not local, no.
Okay.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I would just ask because, again, I'm a hardcore local guy, being born and raised here. So I love the fact that you get to see so many new local bands and artists that not only do you see there, but now they're here, and that you get to follow them around and go to their other shows wherever they're playing, Hooch and Hive, like Whale Feral and everything else.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Well, awesome. So tell us anything else you think.
Well, the one thing I wanted to ask you about, because
this guy did, all of a sudden he wants to be an interviewer.
Yeah. So I do an interview a little bit differently than you, but I think it's effective.
Yeah.
So the big difference that we didn't talk about today yet, we talked a little bit with Tad, is the different areas that music's going to be playing. And you were saying
Again, we did talk about that. Y'all remember? We did.
Yeah,
talk
we
about
did.
that.
But one thing that she said that reminded me is there's going to be two stages where just people in the area that maybe doesn't even know Gasparilla Music Festival is happening. You guys do such a good job of marketing. I think that everybody will know. But there's places where they're going to hear free music.
Yeah.
Where are those places going to be?
Sparkman Wharf, and then the Sail Pavilion, which is behind the convention center.
Awesome.
All accessible from the Riverwalk.
Yeah, and two of the best places in Tampa. You know, if you
Absolutely.
Beautiful view, yeah.
beautiful views, beautiful.
All
beautiful
four of them
spot.
are on the water. All
Yeah,
four.
I mean,
yeah.
it's the benefit of living in Tampa Bay,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
for
just
sure.
so very.
Now, how's
cool.
that water for swimming? Can you jump in there? Can you paddleboard down there?
I mean, if you want, I mean, you could.
Let me know. Go
Yeah.
go check it out.
I might check. I
You
might
be the
paddle
first
out
to
there.
Try. You be
Yeah,
the first to try. Anyway, so tell us anything else you feel that we should know we touched on
I just
already.
think probably the other biggest piece is that we will resume back to normal festival next year. We already have our dates set for next year. It's going to be the third week of February, my birthday weekend.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
me too. When's your birthday?
February 18th.
Mine's the 22nd.
Yeah, so it's not
very
your
nice.
birthday weekend. It's
Yeah,
No.
well,
No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
it's
Fair
not.
enough.
But we will be going over to Julian B. Lane Park, and we will be there until the issue with Kylie Gardens
Flex
is
Hill.
resolved, and we hope
Flex
we
Hill.
hope soon, because we love it. We love it there. It works really well for us, and it's just where we've been since the beginning, and
Yeah.
it feels like it's a
And
big
if
part of us.
it's okay with you guys, I'd like to get some people in that decision-making circle on the podcast and just figure
That's
it
a
out.
great idea.
I just
actually.
want to help
That's-
out any way I can. It's for the
Can you
music.
work that out? Okay, we're gonna get them in here on that.
No, but we're excited to be able to go to Julian B. Lane, and this is what we do. We GMF is going to pull off a spectacular event like we always
Exactly.
do, and show that no matter what kind of hurdles we have to jump over, we're gonna bring great music to this community.
That's
so.
awesome. And you know what, Kelly? Maybe you get there with Julian B. Lane, and then it's actually even better. You never know. You never know. I mean, but I
Perhaps.
get it's hard to let go of Curtis Hickson. That's
It's hard. It's hard. That's
where you grew
our
up,
heart.
basically.
That's where it is.
That's where you grew
It's
up.
where we've been.
basically.
So it's going to look a little different this year, but it's going to sound just as good.
Awesome. Was there anything else you want to touch on before you head out? Or good? I got to say, I want to ask you one more question. How was it, because you've done TV, you've done radio, how was it to be on a really crappy podcast in a trap house and doing a show for the first time?
This is probably the most fun I've had doing it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, what an honor. I mean, can we round of applause for that?
That's amazing.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really,
Yeah.
really do appreciate it.
The
This
only
will be
other-
our final episode. He called it a crappy podcast, and I just don't appreciate
Yeah,
that.
and the only other thing I would add is if you see any GMF staff during
Yeah.
the festival, give them a big ass high five
Yeah,
or a
for
pat on
sure.
the back, because they have really
I can only imagine. Yeah.
really stepped up to the plate this year. And
Bear hug?
it's-
Bear hug cool, too?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I'll say right now,
If
we
they'll accept
appreciate
it.
all the GMF staff. Thank you all already
Yes,
in
it's
advance
amazing.
for putting on a great show, because we know it will be. All right, well, we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
All right, so we're back. All right, so George Pennington we have here with us. Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
This
Just
is-
before we start, just
Oh,
dig
boy.
the vibe. He's got what's the inspiration on the colors? That's a really unique color set. Do you just like the ring and the I love it.
Oh, thank you.
I noticed it as soon as you walked in. Cool bracelet. Like, you just got the vibe, bro.
Man, well, this ring was my great-grandfather's that my
Oh,
grandmother
sick.
recently gave to me. So I like this one. This one's got a sun and some birds on it. And so my thing is when I have the sun facing outwards, it's
Yeah.
giving out sunlight,
Energy.
giving out
Okay.
energy,
Yeah.
whatever. And if I need a little myself, I turn it around the
Oh,
other
shit,
way.
really?
yeah.
So it's like a mental thing, And then this is abalone in there, so I don't know. I just
Dude,
kinda-
love the
love
vibe.
it. I love it. The
Right
only-
on, right on.
The only thing I don't like about you being here is now I'm not the best looking guy here. I mean, that was easy
Chill.
when Sean here. But,
Oh, come on now.
Now we've got problems. But George, let me just ask you right off the bat. So, a musician here. Tell me a little bit about like what got you started in music in the first place.
Well, I first started playing guitar. That was kind of my introduction into studying music and going into different choirs and musical theater and getting a degree in music education at USF. So just the guitar was my was the catalyst that kind of just fanned out into this broader study of music and appreciation for different instruments and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I started playing when I was 10 years old, and I picked it up pretty quickly. I had a couple buddies that got guitars around that time, and we were all just kind of learning as we go, and I just kept going and just picking stuff up on my own, and eventually took some lessons, and just kept growing from there.
Awesome. What was like kind of your musical, I guess, inspiration?
Well, in the early days of first starting the guitar, and still to this day, Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, kind of blues-based psychedelic rock and that sort of thing. Hard rock and metal. When I was in middle school, I loved Metallica and Alice in Chains and grungy stuff, Soundgarden and
that's so wild because you seem like such a young guy that you're like, I love Hendrix and which is great.
Music has no age, dude.
It's true, doesn't it?
That's true, and I'm glad that a lot of that music is still seeming to appeal to some of my guitar students and kids younger than me that I've shown some stuff to. So it's one of those things that I guess the legacy of a lot of that music kind of it helps establish its sort of value that's greater than it ever was. It's not set to a particular generation, which is I guess a sign of its value intrinsically.
Again, that's what I love about music too. It just lives forever, right? And it's like I have like a 10-year-old niece who like knows Journey like by heart, and it's just like those songs just live forever. Like they never get old, and young kids still today learn all these songs that we heard long time ago, right? Which is really, really cool. Tell me, like, because what I always find it interesting, kind of like the different musicians have different creative processes, like how they start a song, finish a song. What is kind of like your key to a creative process? Do you write a riff and then just say, oh, this sounds kind of cool and build it from there? Or you hear another song and say, hey, that sounds cool. Let me kind of take that melody and change it into my own. Or what is like the creative process for writing your music?
My creative process is really, really, it's weird in the sense that it's always changing, and that there isn't any one pattern that I've identified that's how I work best or anything like that. But I try to draw inspiration from everything that I can, whether it's just scrolling through social media or if it's just being outside and trying to observe like the tree line. And like for example, I just saw this video the other day, and I do similar things to this, to where it's like this guy was just demonstrating how he came up with the melody, and he was looking at the tree line on the horizon and was following up, and the taller trees went up higher in pitch and then lower trees. So you can draw anything like that. Like one time I was bending the guitar string, and it was the high string. I decided, what would it sound like if I bend it off of the fretboard the opposite way? Normally you bend it up to you know, to keep it on the fretboard. But if you pull it off, it kind of has a squeaking sound, like a voice crack. And I thought it sounded like a peacock. Like, it's like when you pull it off,
do that louder.
It's like, it's a weird sound that, like, when you pull it off of the fretboard, it makes a weird little sound. So that was an inspiration for a song. Sometimes I sit down and I'm conscious about, okay, I really want to produce this particular song, this sound, and I have a very clear direction. It just really changes.
Dude, you remember that 90s movie, American Beauty?
Yes.
You know, Kevin Spacey gimmick before he got canceled? Dude, that kind of gives me the vibe. Remember the guy that was filming the trash bag blowing in the wind and he goes, "You are beautiful"?
Yeah, yes.
Just my 2 cents.
Right on.
Again, right on.
But anything can be beautiful. That is where I was going with that.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, most things, maybe, or a lot of things.
Yeah. I like that vibe, though.
No, I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't? So, like, how many, I guess, like, well, let's start here, actually. Where do you find like, if somebody wants to find your music and things like that?
Well, I've put my music out on Spotify and Apple Music and SoundCloud and a lot of the other major ones, YouTube. I do a lot of my live performances with the band, which is really it's been my focus and kind of how I keep myself going, is playing live around town with the band. So I put a lot of those videos up on YouTube.
Okay.
So I have a YouTube channel there for all that, and that's where I put out my stuff.
And I think that's a good point that I don't think we bring up enough. Social media is the way of the world these days. So every single person that we come in contact with at this festival, and I would have everyone do the same thing, is subscribe to all their stuff, just to show them that you saw them. And maybe you won't listen to it all the time. You'll like some better than others, just like music we do. We have our favorite playlists, and we have the stuff that we never listen to. But I think for these up-and-coming artists especially, just like our podcast, when no one had listened to us, like, those likes and shares and subscriptions go a long way. Not monetarily, because it's not like anyone's making money by listening to Spotify, but if you see those plays increase, to me, because I'm not a musician, but like I can understand somebody that's up and coming. That's a little, a little slap on the butt, if you will, saying keep it up, good job. So I would just say find these people, go find them in every place that we go, because it really does mean a lot, especially to the music these days.
Yeah, absolutely. And Instagram looks like your George Pennington Music. Is how we find you there on Instagram?
Yeah, on
right?
Instagram, George Pennington Music.
Okay, awesome. And then, so what about well, first of all, you're playing at Gasparilla Music Festival. Tell us when and where you're playing.
I'm playing on the Sunday of the festival, April 30th at 2:45 on the Strass Center stage.
Okay. And are you playing alone? Because you mentioned when you play live, it's usually a full band, or are you playing like acoustic style, or what?
Yeah, so I'm playing with a full band, and that ensemble is George Pennington and the Odyssey. I have a 3-piece horn section and a rhythm section of bass and drums, and we really go all over the place as far as the type of music that we play. Everything from like piano-based ballads to kind of hard rock stuff to acoustic fingerstyle guitar playing with horn arrangements. So we really try to go all over the place and take listeners on a journey through our sets, hence the name The Odyssey, which was given to us by a local music venue owner over in St. Pete at the Ale and the Witch, Brett Andrus. He came up with that name, and we've been rolling with that for a few years now.
Oh, okay, very cool.
What's his cut?
What's his? He's great. He was very gracious and just kind of came up. with that,
that's awesome, dude.
What a
We've been
nice guy.
rolling with that. Yeah, one of the best guys. Yeah.
Awesome. And you're a Tampa boy. You told me before we started, right?
Yep. Born and raised.
Yeah. Whereabouts?
Well, I was living most of my life was kind of in South Tampa. I was on Hawthorne Road, and then I was down by the Air Force Base on Inner Bay, and now I'm out in West Chase. So
okay. Oh, so you moved to the suburbs, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. West Chase is a great area. I love it out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, cool. And then, so you're playing on Sunday.
Where do we find you, like, during the week? Do you play local gigs, like, in the area? Do you travel out of state? Like, what's your gimmick? What do you like the most?
Yeah, well, throughout the week, pretty regularly, I'll be playing at different venues around town or on the weekends with the band.
Nice.
Just to try to stay as busy as I can. I'm also teaching guitar lessons, so I'm bouncing around. That's kind of my
Do you have any favorite venues you like to play on a Friday or Saturday night?
Well, I love the Ale and the Witch. I love the Crowbar in Ybor. I play there.
Everybody does.
I play there pretty regularly, and Tom's a big supporter of me. Tom DeGeorge at the Crowbar, so he's always had my back.
ODS's.
Yeah.
Shout out Crowbar.
I'm trying to think. Just there's a lot that I'd really like to play at. But definitely the Ale and the Witch and the Crowbar have been giving me opportunities to play since 2012 or 2013 now, a long time. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. I was in a band a while back now, but one of the things I just remember how nervous I would get before going on stage, and I would always have to go through my own kind of like my process or my own kind of like meditation, if you will. Yeah, what is it like for you to
now
go?
Remember, he's not good at music, so I can understand. You probably are like, I got this.
Yeah.
Well, they say one who doesn't care is one who shouldn't be.
Right?
Yeah.
So
He's no longer.
It's good to be nervous before a performance.
A little
right?
bit of that is really, really good, I think, because it can help kind of get some extra mojo out of you and put that sort of sensitivity or not fear, but there's something about it that really can translate and help kind of communicate those feelings that are within the music.
Sure, yeah. Do you have any like traditions or anything you do beforehand?
I'm always...
That you can tell us on live on it.
Yeah.
Gotta crank one out real quick. This will be fine. Sorry. No, I'm being like you.
Like me, no. No, I guess what he's asking is, there's any illicit drug use that you do before that?
You get what I'm asking. You get what I'm asking.
Totally get what you're asking.
No.
I drink tea with honey, and I have a YouTube video that I've been using for a long time, which is the vocal warm up.
Okay.
So I sing through that usually in the car, or I try to go away from the place that I'm doing so people don't hear that. I like to kind of have this sort of not transformation, but just this sort of time where I'm in some space of warming up and of just really kind of trying to get in tune with myself, and then I can go out and start to play. I always like to start also with the band is try to start with some sort of ambiance to where I'm making eye contact with people on stage.
Yeah.
So it's a, hey, we're about to play a set of music. Are we all feeling pretty good about
Yeah,
this?
sure, got it.
All right, we good? Like,
love that.
and then we roll from there. So those are some of the things I do almost every show.
Okay.
That's a good point, because just not to take it off you because you deserve the spotlight, but Austin used to actually be a semi-pro wrestler, and when you would, before the shows, didn't you say too, when you come out in the crowd, you make eye contact because you were a heel, so you would actually find the 12-year-old you're going to yell at, and you would get into this trance.
It's a little different, I think, going up and playing live music, but obviously playing in GMF, it's a huge deal.
Amazing.
Here in Tampa.
Can't wait.
Can you give us
We'll be there.
Yeah,
We'll get
we'll
to
be
see
there.
him.
We'll be there to see you. So we're definitely going to come out watch you.
Sweet.
Can you give us maybe just another time throughout your musical career so far that was really memorable for you, or a big show?
Besides being on
something
this
like that?
podcast.
Obviously, this is the biggest moment of your career, but outside of that, to give us another moment that was just kind of really memorable for you.
Veterans Day, 11/11/22.
Okay.
It was just last year, and it was a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, a few days prior to that, I was asked to open up for the Gypsy Kings at Ruth
wow.
Eckerd Hall.
Okay.
And it was a big event. It was
Yeah.
2,100, 2,200
Dang.
people that fit in Ruth Eckerd Hall, and it was packed to the gills all the way to the top. And they've got those European-style seating, so it's just like the sea of emerald green and folks all the way to the top, which was, of course, a lot to try to wrap my mind around, to put on a 30-minute set by myself in front of all those
that's
folks.
big.
So that was a big deal for me, and people were really enthusiastic about how the set went afterwards, which made me feel probably better than I felt almost ever in my life. It was such a huge boost of just overcoming. That was some serious fear, and it was really cool because I had some of my buddies that were in town, just happened to be in town at that time, that were able to come with me and just kind of sit backstage with me and just be a part of that, to kind of have that shared memory that will last a lifetime.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
It's really cool.
That's why you do it.
That's why you
do it, for
Make
those
connections.
moments.
Yeah,
That's what it is about. And those moments too is it is going to, no matter how big and how great you become, those moments will always stay in the front end of your brain, being like, I remember when it was that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to play some music here for us, but for those who haven't heard you before, how would you kind of describe your style of music?
Well, when I'm playing with the full band, one commonality between all the stuff I'm doing is it is usually guitar-driven stuff.
Okay.
I'm writing the tunes and singing the tunes, so a lot of the stuff is it's coming through my influences and my inspiration and my training, which is primarily as a guitar player. So if people are fans of Southern rock, of blues, of funk, of jazz fusion, they might like my stuff, because we do kind of branch out into some fusion-y territories and some kind of instrumental stuff too that might appeal to fans of classical music or jazz music too, because a lot of the guys on stage are all jazz musicians or classical musicians too, that we all kind of either met at USF or in the kind of gigging musician community. So we really do kind of go all over the place, but a commonality is kind of guitar-driven rock and blues stuff at its core.
Awesome. Very cool. And if when people hear it or see you live, and they walk away, kind of tell me something you hope they walk away with, or what feeling should they leave with?
One thing that I'm really proud of with this band is that we've got a lot of guys from all different backgrounds ethnically, different backgrounds educationally, and different sort of people all coming together. But the one thing that I hope that people take away is, wow, every guy up on stage was a really, really competent musician, someone that was really, really playing well and was demonstrating that you don't have to kind of pander to having some sort of very prolific stream number or something, or really trying to get all this attention. What's really important is that core of spending a lifetime dedicated to an instrument, to a single instrument, or to a single style of instrument or of music. That's where a lot of musicians and bands start from. Of course it can go on, and that can yield success, and success isn't bad. It's not something to steer clear from, but
definitely.
But that people are like, wow, musicians that are just working together and listening across the stage without relying on tracks, without relying on pre-made sounds or things that are kind of guaranteed to sound a certain way. It's like everything is malleable.
Yeah,
Everything is variable that can be changed and edited, and it's all spontaneous and in a way very, very raw and fragile. And in that way, it can be very potent, I think. So I hope it kind of gets people's ears kind of tuned back into this is all happening right in front of us right now. And if they wanted to change something, they could do it just like that. Just like you're watching a sports game or something. It's all just happening right there. You can't get away from that aspect of it.
Yeah, this isn't the Grammys pre-recorded up on stage Cardi B style. This is like coming from his guitar and you're listening to it for the first time and the rawest form of it. I agree with you, actually. I hate the pre-recorded stuff because, you go to a live festival and live music to see it raw.
Yeah.
That's why so many great albums are from the live album.
Yeah, you don't have a backup lyric track you're singing along with. It's raw, right?
Yeah,
Just you doing it.
And I really do believe that there is something lost when that becomes something that people start to rely on. There's something that doesn't quite permeate within the listener.
Dude, you ever seen or read The Secret? Motion creates emotion. It does. Law of attraction, dude. But he's hitting it right on the head. You lose something.
Did you ever see Saturday Night Live when Ashley Simpson's vocal track just was playing in the background?
But I feel like everybody knows that they lip sync. See, that's the thing. Like you come to Gasparilla Music Festival, you are getting the best possible situation and outcome from the music. You're getting what it sounds like from the crowd, and that's why people have such a deep love for the instances. And you tell, man, in 2020, in 2018, when I was at the show, there was this. That's not just the music they heard. That's the emotions the music created.
Yeah,
can't make that up. You can't push play and get that.
Yeah, true. I 100% agree with you on that. And one thing about these local musicians, and George, for example, one word to describe him, just talking to him briefly, passion, right? This guy's you're very passionate about your music, you can tell, and what you're doing, which is awesome. So we're about to have you play here live, all right? Again, no backup tracks, no backup vocals, and you're just going to go for it. Tell us what you're going to play today.
Well, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I really don't know, but I kind of wanted to show some of my finger-style acoustic pieces off of my album Daydream Sequence. There's one song on there it's complicated. It's like an 11-minute song, but it's broken up into 5 movements.
Okay.
And one of the movements is called Mount Zion. And I didn't realize that there's a Mount Zion gospel choir that's also on so it's like, well, that's kind of kismet. So I'd like to play a piece called Mount Zion.
Kismet, dude, use that this week.
I don't even know what that word means.
Of course you don't. Of course you don't.
All right. All right, well, George, we're going to take a quick break, and then you're going to be here live playing. Let's stick around.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, wow. First of all, wow. That was amazing. One more round of
Yeah,
applause. One more round of
absolutely.
applause, George.
And when are we going to see you again this weekend?
I'll be-
Or 29th, 30th?
I'll be playing on April 30th, 2:45 to 3:45 on the Straz Riverfront stage.
Awesome. Man, well,
Nice.
thank you so much for coming, playing the song. Tell everyone one more time how to find you on Spotify, YouTube, all that other good stuff.
Yeah, on Spotify, just search my name, George Pennington, and that should pop up on YouTube, Apple Music, SoundCloud, and all the other major streaming platforms.
Okay,
stuff
cool.
like
And
that.
George Pennington Music on Instagram, all that, right?
Yep, George Pennington Music on Instagram. Yep.
Awesome.
Dude,
And
one of the nicest guys I ever met,
a
honestly.
nice guy, very nice
He is.
guy. And like I said, better looking than me, so you got to leave here soon. And Michelle, I want to thank you, Michelle. She won't be on camera.
I know, she's
She won't-
amazing.
won't
She
be on
sets all-
camera, but she's been setting all this up for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you
We
so much.
appreciate it. It's been great.
And we will have another episode this week that we'll be putting out early next week. So we're going to meet a couple more performers that we're going to be shooting. So you're going to hear plenty more from the music festival here at Gasparilla Music
Awesome.
Festival.
Well, before we close out, how do we find you, Sean?
Vintage_gimmick, or you just come to the house, 2213 East 6th Avenue, right behind the Columbia Restaurant in downtown Ybor. Comedy shows Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m., Friday, 10 p.m. And then on Instagram, Vintage_gimmick, Facebook, The Gimmick. Where do we find you?
You find me at Tampa is Life, TampaIsLife.com, or the What's Good Tampa Show, What'sGoodTampa.com. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the What's Good Tampa Show. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at What's Good Tampa Show, or visit what'sgoodtampa.com to get involved with the show. See you next time.